hello, hello.
Hello, huggy, e-hug for
Yes.
you, my sis.
Okay, so hello, everybody. I hope you all are doing good and
Yeah.
you have had wonderful day. So today I have an amazing somebody, very special person. Someone that is going to be telling us everything we need to know today about migrating to Australia as a carer. She is very knowledgeable. So ask her all the questions that you need answers to. Don't leave anything. Ask her everything that you need to be answered. So today we have someone who everybody knows as mentor. You know when somebody calls you mentor, the person has it up here. So I will allow her introduce herself and then we will get on to the reason why we are here today. So can you please
Um,
tell us about yourself, Ma?
yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Mrs. Thank you, family members joining us from everywhere around the world. My name is Ola Shade, and some people call me Mentor Shade. And yeah, we are here today to talk about um, aged care pathway to Australian migration. I would like to know why we've been silent about it for a while and why we've decided to come up with it again. I know there have been loads and lots of things that people have said about it, and like this thing started as far back as May 2023, and we are just talking about it in December. Yes. Personally, and like my colleague, we are not used to just triggering people into doing things, especially because we know that your data are very much involved in doing things like this, and because you will end up believing in us, and then you will put in your assessment with the hope that things will fall in shape. If things do not fall in shape, then it bounces back on us, sort of in a way. It has a way of affecting me personally negatively. So we've been very cautious and conscious of not sensitizing people unnecessarily for this pathway. But then, because I've seen a lot of times that some things will come around, but then jobs do not follow them. And this Australia aged care is not like big jobs have been coming to people. But then why do I discuss with my friend and we decided to come up with it? You never can say, you never can tell. Because I remember when they were shouting about New Zealand, New Zealand, New Zealand, and all along I kept searching their job site and were like, and I was like, jobs were not coming. And I knew I did some things on TikTok then, but because these people they kept putting in there that they are only going to use people who have residence permits or who are citizens or who are residents in New Zealand. But in my eyes like this now, I've seen people going with the same carer or support worker pathway. So it shouldn't be something that everyone will now miss out of just because we are thinking. And another thing is that I've seen people approaching me, who are in Australia, who are even citizens already, approaching me that they want their people back in Nigeria to go this age care assessment pathway because they believe that since the government has released that they might likely need people, then at some point they might need people. Then it will now be the success of those who have done their assessment. They just handpick their assessment, positive assessments, and apply. So I think we would have done you a whole lot of disfavor if we do not intimate you with what is going on with it. So that's why we've decided to let you know what it is all about. And like aged care, the way it's been all around the world. You know, UK had done a whole big thing about the aged care, and people have come into the United Kingdom through that pathway. Now Australia too. And I have people around over there saying they actually really need people. Of course, they've not started doing massive recruitment, but then let's do the assessment if you have the money and keep the assessment there, because one day it might just be that thing you fall on. And while I was struggling with my assessment in 2016, 2017, I knew someone who did something like this and went to Australia as a registered nurse, but she
Okay.
went as a residential care officer. Those were the names in those days. And
Also,
assessed
now.
residential care officer. So they assess and they work in this capacity. And she left while we were grappling and grappling with how to do APRA and NMBA. She just did the assessment and she went with visa 489, which was like um regional nomination visa that time, 4 years. They will stay on that visa 4 years, then they will get their permanent residence. And I'm sure she would have been a citizen by now, because all the people I knew that went through that pathway in those days, early those days, were already citizens. So, and if they are not citizens, I'm sure they are permanent residents already and just going into citizenship in 2024. So it made life easier for them. And I remember I read the story of that nurse that went through that pathway again on Nairaland, where she was now giving testimony that she eventually did her registration in Australia as a registered nurse, which actually made life easier for her than those of us who were struggling to get the eligibility to come and do bridging program and all those things, and they just wasted our money. Now, there are two bodies that are assessing people for this age care pathway in Australia at a time like this. So you either have AQUA, that is the Australian Community Workers Association.
So how do you
So
spell that? Is that ACW?
AQUA,
Okay.
yeah, ACWA. Those guys are assessing the aged care people or disabled carers, and they are using the ANSCO code 42311, as the code with which you're going to do the assessment. Those codes are necessary, especially when you will be doing your migration. You'll be pulling in your migration information into the IMI pathway. So, um, and there is this body, nursing body too, that is assessing a part of this, that is AMAC. And so that is Australian Nurses and Midwifery Accreditation Authority, like that. And what they are assessing is the personal care team, personal care people, and the nursing, what do they call them now? Like they are nursing support workers.
Okay.
I've seen nurses who have gone this pathway and they have their assessment ready, and we started pushing for job. And it was quite easy. It was just within a month, because the person I knew actually applied in July, I think July 7th, and got the assessment around August 7th or thereabouts. It was that short. Now, to go through Aqua Pathway, you must check through the eligibility. Are you eligible? Have you been trained? You must have been trained and gained a qualification that will make you eligible to practice as an aged care support person or aged carer. Like you are working, taking care of people who are above 65 years old with their own health challenges, or people that have moved from that part of the world where they are consistently active and they need support with mobility, support with feeding, support with elimination, support with activities of daily living, support with interactions. Like at that stage, some people are already going down the dementia pathway. At that stage, some people are already having challenges to mobilize without support. So there are lots of things to be done for these people. And you must have been trained. At least your training must be more than 6 months before Aqua will recognize that. So this is not a crash thing that you just pull up Florence from somewhere. I mean, you just go on and access through. I mean, you just do the Florence training and pushing. It's not like that. It's not like the UK part of it. So what we do is you must have been trained. Possibly, I know I did a video for someone on my channel, and the woman is a dollar training, and our training too is acceptable for things like this. So you can go back and have a look at Rashmira. She's very good with training people. And I know there was this MBA one young man like that too that is doing that has this domiciliary trainings and is a very big training, well compacted, and he do send people out. At least I can vouch for these two people that I have personal contact with in Nigeria that are really training people, and they will train you for a long while. It's not like they will just bring on programs for you to read and do exam. No, you go physically to do
Okay.
practicals, and some of them have alliances with international organizations that give certificates. Once you are certificated and your training is not just a crash program, then you are fit to apply for this. And you must have been working in that profession for at least 12 months consistently in the last 5 years, and you have things to show for the job you are doing. You have your employment letter, you have your pay slip, you have your bank statement to support all those things that you've been doing. You have your manager or team leader that can reference you if there is need to reference, and you will be using institutional email address because you're going to create an account for this, and you can push everything through online. You may not need to submit anything like hard copies if you want to work it through that way. So
You know, in Nigeria, we have people like community health extension workers. Can they
they will
do
be very
that?
good for this. Very, very good. And the other pathway with Aqua too, that those community health extension workers can work. In fact, these are the people that Aqua needs. Before they even brought in the aged care, Aqua is really, really good. You know, they are the one like they assess the welfare center managers, they
Okay.
assess the community support workers. There are loads of people they are assessing. I personally know someone who did assessment as um care manager, and she got the registration right, and she's already a citizen.
So how about people who do not have 12 months work experience? What would they do?
So if you don't have 12 months work experience, it might be a hard nut for some people to crack. So, and I don't really know how it's easy for people to go on without their work experience. You might just need to wait it on a bit before you put in your application.
Oh, so step one means you need to have all of these things. You need to have like the work experience and the training and everything before you even start the registration.
You must at least be trained for more than 6 months, and
Okay.
you must for aqua.
Oh, for
Maybe,
aqua.
yeah, maybe AMAC can have something different for the nurses. While you are training as a nurse, at least you are going to be working consistently and working consistently. But Aqua can really be rigid sometimes and with their decisions.
Okay.
So you put all those things together, then your documents. You need your passport, then you need two other documents, maybe your driving license, or is it driver's license, or any other documents like we mentioned the other time, and they must be certified. This time certified, they didn't say necessarily to be notarized.
Oh,
So
okay.
just take it to someone who can certify them. In those days, they used to have list of people that can certify. And if they don't, just take it to a lawyer, let them certify it. Or take it to a court, let them certify it. That settles that. Once they certify those things, you will see how you need to upload them on the website. So, and you will fill your form. Your forms must not be filled with capital letters, capital letters, capital. Just fill your form normally, like when you started writing a paragraph, you start with a capital letter, then continue and continue like that. So um your work experience, we've mentioned that it must be a paid experience. It mustn't be voluntary work. You know, there are areas that they will say, oh, you can present your voluntary work experience. So far you have backings for them. But Aqua could be rigid. Aqua said it must be a paid employment. So you are not coming to just say, maybe you've been sitting down at home, you've not been doing anything, and you just come with, oh, I've been working, I've been doing that. No. And for your qualifications too, you must ensure that you bring in the certificates, you bring in the transcripts of all you've been doing to upload them, because those are the things that will tell them that your training, which they said it should be an Australian qualification framework free or skill level 2. So if you are bringing that on, you must ensure you meet the qualification framework 3, which is what those shields you talked about, those one who have gone to community schools, community health extension workers. Honestly, I was just thinking about them, that these people are disendowed, they might not really know, and they might feel, oh, they might be feeling nothing about this is actually happening to us, whereas they are the real happenings when it comes to this, and especially when it starts working. So you must be legally providing those jobs to people who are ill, who are sick, who have been placed in aged care home or residential homes, or maybe disabled children. I remember the person who did the residential care things was actually practicing with orphans.
Oh.
Yeah, it was that beautiful. And I'm sure some of us, some nurses, some community extension workers are doing things like that, but they really never know that they can do this. So she was working with the orphans, because it's a residential thing. You prepare them, you help them to meet some needs, all those things. They are together. Sometimes you may need to bring in doctors for them, nurses for them to treat some ailment, to do a particular round for them. All those things, we're bringing them together. And that was how she jello on her own. Something that some of us never knew. And it was quite an easy ride for her. I must tell you, it was really, really very easy for her. So such people should be able to work with diverse people, should be able to work with people from different walks of life, languages, life experiences, life exposures, personal needs. You must be able to meet them, activities of daily living, you must be able to support them in doing all those things. Then you must have an experience of your vocational placement. While you were training, you've been placed, you have logbooks. Most of us who used to do all these practicals, we used to have logbooks. So this may be a place that you may need to scan part of your logbook to as your supporting evidence. So you were not just doing those things in abstract, or you are doing them in the sky or in the cloud. You have experiential things that you have to produce for all those things. And we've talked about your experience, which must be current, which must not be outdated. Your you must be practicing in that role, possibly full time or part time. You will be accepted if you are still practicing part time, but it's different from you. But it must be a paid job. It's different from you doing it full time now and saying you are doing it voluntarily. They won't take that. And if you want to use an agent, fine, go on ahead and use a migration agency that has been accredited. Use them, but it's coming to your wallet. You don't really actually need them, because everything you need are those documents that we've mentioned. Creating your account, and you make a payment of 595 Australian dollars, which is not too big, it's less than 300 pounds in the United Kingdom. And your
Is it
assessment
the
normally,
agency? Is it to the
no, no, no,
agency
no, no,
or the
no, no,
registration
no.
fee?
I've moved away from migration agency.
Okay.
Just yeah, if migration agency would be much more heavier than that, I can say. But for this whole assessment is 595 Australian dollars.
Okay.
So, and your assessment report will be ready within a month. All other things being equal, if your documents were put in place and you will upload everything that you need to upload as they want you to upload them, you've written everything you need to write, then your assessment report should be ready in a month. Once your assessment report is ready, if it is positive, congratulations, then you go on ahead and start searching for job. If it's not positive, you can actually you can appeal their decisions. In those days, they used to fast track. My friend that did welfare center manager fast tracked, and as our reports came within, I think, 5 or 14 days. But now they said they've suspended their fast tracking process. Possibly they've been having massive influx of
Yeah.
people coming to apply. In those days, nobody really knew them so much. You know, all those welfare center managers must actually pass English test before they apply. But this HK thing, just go on with your assessment. You don't need to present English results for the
Okay.
assessment to be done. But then when you want to do your migration, you definitely need your English test. Band 5 overall, no module less than 4.5. You need that. Or if you are presenting PSC test of English, or if you are presenting occupational English test, you are presenting Cambridge English test, or as many other reports they accept, just equivalent of overall band 5 IELTS, no module less than 4.5, then you are good to go. And this aged care thing, they haven't put them on independent skill migration, and that's the part that I think Australia is still not doing it right. I just wish they could put it on independent skill migration, at least on regional visas. If regional visas are coming into it, then life will be easier for people. People will be getting nominations. The moment people can get nominations, then they can just go, and when they get there, they get employers, or maybe be working in a few other areas before they are able to get the jobs. And I've approached two people that have companies, and one will be approaching their lawyer. Once they are done with discussing with their lawyers, then the report they give me, I will let Mercy know, so that if they are recruiting, then we can get you on board with them. Yeah, and the other person will be having a discussion with those who had helped them to recruit. They actually recruited two people to New Zealand as aged care workers this year, and some things will be coming on board by February, according to the discussion we had. Once that is on board, I will let Mercy know, so that you will be good for that. But if you have this sort of assessment through the trans-Tasmania mutual relationship, I know you can easily convert it to
Yeah.
New Zealand for assessment. That could be easy for you to do. So, yeah, this is this is what is going on so far.
Okay.
And these are the things we'd like you to know. If you have your money, please pull your assessment. And don't forget all the documents you actually use to gain your positive assessment. You will need everything to apply for visa. So don't lose sight of any of them. The moment you are submitting, keep making a list of them. And as we've made a list of them, upload them, put them in, archive them somewhere, so that you just pull them out when you need to go to email account to create email account for yourself and apply for visa.
Okay.
Shikenan.
So people coming through this route, are they eligible for permanent residency? You know, just like how nurses, when they are moving,
Yeah.
they can.
So as it is, they are recruiting them. That visa is coming on 482 or 457, which is employer visas. And I think that's where the trouble is for now.
Okay.
If it were to be straight to permanent residency visa, then it will have been there on the list outside there, that people that have got the registration or assessment would have just been going out and be pulling in their putting their details and getting their visas. But as it is now, it is still under employer nomination scheme pathways. And we haven't been seeing many employers nominating them.
Okay. So,
Possibly because they have loads of people, because that was my fear too with UK carer pathways, that, oh, who will be nominating them? There are students, there are other people who are doing this work to get settled, to stabilize for now. Then who will be? But then UK just suddenly surprised us with getting people in, like influx of people coming. And I'm just thinking it's going to be like that at some point. So for this Australian aged care pathway. And like I said, I've seen people there who have approached me, who are already in Australia, that have approached me that they want their people to get the registrations ready,
okay.
because
That's
they
good.
are, yeah, they've approached me that they want their people to back in Nigeria to get their registrations ready, because they know that at some point it will
They
be
might be.
happening, and they
Yeah.
don't want them to start assessment at that point that it is happening, because it
Mm,
will really, really still happen.
okay. So, thank you so
So
much.
if people get the 2 years visa, it used to be 4 years visa before, the employer nomination path visas, but now the government has changed it to 2 years. You stay on that for 2 years, then upgrade. Your employer should be able to upgrade you to permanent residency, still employer nomination, like 186.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's what's going to happen after 2 years of staying on that. Then the employer should be able to move them to 186. That's what will happen with this one.
Okay. Wow. This is very, very informative. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we will be coming to an end of this live very soon. If you have got any questions, please leave it in the comment section and we will answer it to the best of our capabilities. Someone have said, in your opinion, Mentor Shade, how much would you say it would cost to do the
Hmm.
process from start to finish?
So if, like, this aqua pathway is for those who are not nurses
Okay.
or are not practicing nursing, or were not trained as nurses. Those who are trained as nurses, we take their own assessment through AMAC, like I mentioned, and for Aqua is 595 for assessment. If you are to get transcripts or you are to get anything from your employer, it is you and whatsoever they are billing you. So
Mm,
whatsoever they are billing you, add it to the £595, I mean 595 Australian dollars equivalent,
mhm,
and you are creating your account yourself, except you want to contract it out to someone to create account for you, to fill the form for you, or you want to get a Mara, that's migration agent, that can do it for you, then they will be billing you according to what they want to. Otherwise, this one, the 595, add it to all the documents you want to collect, because I know you definitely need money to certify your documents, money to get transcript from here to there and all that. Besides that, anything you will be spending now will be when you get to visa stage. You shouldn't really be spending anything that will break the bank or break the wallet, or like maybe 300,000 or a bit above that could settle it. I mean,
depend.
300,000 naira, maybe.
Yeah. So
Depending
I
on what
think
the exchange rate is singing then.
exactly depending on the exchange rate, because it could vary from time to time. So you just
Yeah,
have
it shouldn't be too capital consuming. It
yeah.
shouldn't be. I know Australia likes their money. They like money. They may like money. They like money. But at least they give the money out too. They make it go round.
Someone else said, you know, here in the UK, people move, say, as healthcare assistants and then change entirely from care. Is it possible for people to move to Australia and change from that visa completely?
Did you say someone said that?
Yeah, so it says, could you switch visa totally away from
Oh,
care?
is it on your screen? Because I can't see that.
Oh, yes, it is on my screen.
Oh, all right. So with what Australia is, you can change your visas. I mean, you can go to Australia, assess as something, go there and don't practice as that thing
Hmm.
in the past. Like, as we've assessed as nurses now, if you are going with um independence, through independent skill pathway, Like you are not going with your employer with an employer. You get over there. I can say, oh, I don't want to practice nursing. I want to be an ICT person and be doing that. You don't necessarily need to practice in the profession you've been assessed to gain registration or to get your visa to Australia in those days. But they are trying now that whatsoever you are assessed for is what you should come and practice. It's not yet law, but it's part of the bills they are trying to pass. But it wasn't like that before. Now this will be a bit different because you are going with an employer.
Oh, I see.
Because this age care pathway is an employer nomination scheme. They
Mm-hmm.
are not coming as independent skill pathway. I wish it's coming like that. If it's coming like that, it would be easier. All the people that have had their registrations would have just gone in there.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
if they like, start practicing as age care person or support workers or go into different fields entirely. But they've so streamlined it that it must be an employer that must nominate people.
nominate you.
So
Yeah,
how you will now get there and not practice in this is not going to be easy because you need your employer support,
yeah, yeah.
especially the first 2 years that you will be on work visa. And
Mm.
depending on your employer, the nomination they've given you to stabilize yourself till you get permanent residency after that 2 years. And it is still that employer or an employer that is running the same scheme that will nominate you on
Mm.
180 so that you now become a permanent resident. So it is still like in this particular age care thing or disability support thing or personal care assistant thing or nursing support
Worker.
worker pathway, it's like you cannot do any other thing. You can do some other things outside your contracted working hours, but you will need to still be working on this on your contracted hours because that's what they will be bringing you in for. And 2 years isn't too long. In those days, it used to be 4 years. So let's not be in too much a hurry. I'm just praying that they release those people, they start taking people in. So that at least if they're taking people in, then the money spent, yeah,
Yes.
people will be happy.
Mm. Me, I want to find out, by the time you go and you have contracted hours, can you do extra shift, just like how you do bank shift?
Definitely, 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 definitely. Nothing stopping you from doing extra. So far, it's not jeopardizing what you've been asked to do. Yeah, You
And
you
you
are
don't.
you are thinking it's like the UK that you cannot work more than 20 hours outside your clinic, and tomorrow they will change the rule. Once it is winter rush, they will now say you can work till you faint. So and once the winter is gone, and they will now go, oh, you must not work than 20 hours, otherwise you not get tired. So far you are fulfilling your contractual hours. Just go and work whatever you want to work. No trouble at all. And you know this visa, you go with your family if you so wish.
Yeah.
So you go with your family, you go with your spouses and kiddies, you'll be fine and go and settle in and start making your life. The only clause is getting the permanent residency because it's an employer visa. If someone does not get PR, then it's a big, big, big deal. But let's even step into the water first now before the crocodile will start pulling person away.
So Samuel said, after spending this much, your application could still get rejected. Can you get a negative response?
People can get negative responses, so please, and that is why it is important whatsoever. Now, like they said, if you are not trained for more than 6 months, they don't want you to just present CPD, short courses, and all those things. If the person has now gone and done Florence that you do online like CPDs and put it like UK, they are happy with that.
Yeah.
Even New Zealand is happy. But if you do it like that, they will reject that application. And Aqua that I know, they no even get chill, Kakao. Aqua no get chill. Oh. It's one of those. It's one of those assessing authorities with, in fact, very much high respect. They don't get chill because then we used to do community examinations in nursing.
Mm.
And that one, I was thinking, oh, but we used to do community, we used to do public health. Specifically, they stated it that if you did that, if you are not qualified to apply. And I've known people who have maybe one or two people who applied through that and actually rejected them. So please, anything that is not in, I'm sure Mercy will put the link here because it's not a court thing, it's not a confraternity, it's very much open. She will put the link so that you can have a good read. And if
Yeah.
you have any questions, please ask. But if you don't fulfill their terms and conditions, they will reject the application. They will deny, they will give negative assessment.
Okay.
Or
Emmanuel
if
said,
you don't present your certificate and they request for it and you do not present them, or you do not certify what you should certify, or you do not put you know you need to put your passport besides the international passport and all those things, your passport photograph, or you decide in not to use your international passport and you are saying your Shebi Nigerian name is they will just reject. Please, let's not even toy with aqua. They no get chill.
okay. Emmanuel said, because it's an employer nomination, it will always be a sponsorship, meaning your visa, flights, and those expenditure will be handled by them or
No, not necessarily. So, not necessarily, but these are. I'm sure when you get to the stage, some employers could be very happy to do all those things. Yeah, I've seen employers. I knew there was a time Latrobe was giving 33,000 support to
$1 million.
people, to some people. And I know at that time that they were giving it, there were employers, they were even saying 5,000. There were employers that were not even ready to give anything. So it depends on that employer. But during your interview, you can always discuss with them. Some will be happy, some will not. Some will be say, "Oh yeah, we are very happy to go along with that." And I've seen people they paid for their all the family members' flights. I've seen New Zealand that they are giving 10,000 for people to take nurses in, and I've read of someone who have their properties in the UK that their employer moved their properties from the UK to New Zealand, like moved.
Wow.
So it is you and your employer that should agree on that. But please, don't if they say they can't do some things you are requesting, but it's not going to jeopardize your sponsorship. Just go with your sponsorship. All these things you will enjoy you will enjoy the efforts and the monetary inputs you've made into it. I can tell you that over and over and over again with my full chest. Yeah. Yeah. Australia is not one of those countries you go to and you start lamenting and lament. Mm. You spend. And that's one thing I love about them. But your money comes back. You get value for what you spend for. There are places you spend that you get there, you'll be groaning. You'll be And in the next 2, 3 years, you are looking for escape. Australia. Do you see there are people running everywhere? Do you see there are people running at scatter like as in even their carers? Do you see them running everywhere? Whereas there is a country that even professionals that one don't go. So, yeah.
Okay. Emmanuel said, you know your onion, Mentor Shade. Thank
Thank
you.
you, boss.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. I don't think we have any more questions. I think those are all the questions that have been asked, and you have answered them very well. Thank you very much. So,
Thank you,
guys,
Mercy.
we will be coming to the end of this live. I want to tell you that Mentor Shade has a YouTube channel. You see all of this
Oh,
information that she's dishing to us. She has it on her channel too. You will find value from there. I tell you the truth. You will find value.
thank
So
you.
I will leave a link to her channel in the description box so that you can just click on it, like the content, share it, subscribe. Just like how you're liking on mine too. So like on both channels, share the content, subscribe. You know you will find value from me. So I don't understand why you have not subscribed yet.
Let me ask them. Let me ask them. Oh, subscribe, subscribe. It
Yes,
doesn't bite. So in the mighty slogan, it doesn't bite. Yeah,
those
and
are
I
the
really
people
want
who hear
us to
from
be
me.
coming around to intimate the community people, the community health extension, those who have attended those health technology schools, that there are opportunities for them. Those ones who have gone to the schools of agric, mercy, let's come up and let them know that they can do assessment as veterinary nurses and go to
Really?
Australia. Let's come around again and do that for them, because there are other country people rushing all these things. Let our people too come.
Wow. So wait first, let me understand what you have just said. People who did agriculture in school
Yeah,
can be assessed.
there are schools of agriculture,
Yes. I
and
even
I
know
remember.
somebody who did agriculture in school.
Oh,
I
okay.
know people.
All right. So there are these schools of agriculture, and they will train them how to raise rabbit, how to raise this, how to raise that.
Mhm.
If they now move to the uni to study veterinary medicine, at least I have people in my family who are veterinarians. My immediate kid brother is a veterinarian. Oh, I know they used to make fun of those people. They will call them nurses. They were calling them nurses. You understand that? They will just be making fun of themselves.
Mhm.
But these are the people that places like the UK and Australia are calling veterinary nurses. And they do not know that they can access. And this works, and they are being sponsored on on 189, 190, 186, 457. They are being sponsored.
Wow.
Meaning they can go outside there as independent skilled migrants,
Yeah.
or they can get employer to nominate them, or get a region to sponsor them, or have a state to sponsor them. And they don't know, and they are there, they are struggling in Nigeria.
So you know, if you don't have information, you cannot make a
Yeah,
decision.
like all those people that attended more plantation, School of Agric in Akure, School of Agric in Taraba. There are lots of those schools of agric. I even went out to make list of them. Many, many schools like that, and they are really doing very, very well. They will not know. Poultry farmers, apiarists, those one who are raising bees, loads. But we come back because our people must actually benefit optimally. Yeah,
And
why I love this is because some nurses are struggling now. They want to do IELTS, they want to do this, and their husbands are in those skills, in those professions
yeah,
that they can easily get their skills assessed and just move. And they don't know. And they are
that's
struggling. Writing IELTS once, twice, three times, whereas all the money they would have just pulled them together. Their spouse will do the assessment and they will go.
okay. Okay. For people who go through this route, can their dependents do anything? Do they have the freedom to do anything, or do they have
Sure.
restrictions?
No restrictions. No restrictions. No
Okay.
restrictions at all.
I see. Okay.
No restrictions.
That's good. So you guys have all heard we have something that we're looking forward to, something that we're
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
about.
We are coming back.
So
I'll be on leave for the next 2 weeks, so I should be able to come up pop in here when you are free, and
you have
then
finished
we go.
enjoying Christmas and New Year celebration. You still now have 2 weeks leave.
Just leave me, oh no, 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 no talk my talks to the whole world, though.
Okay, well that's fine. We will plan on when we'll come back again to have this live, and we will
Yeah,
talk other routes. So please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, turn on your post notification bell so that by the time we go live again, you will be notified and you will come jump on it and be informed. We want to bring this to an end now. We've gone longer than I expected. So I'll say thank you so much to everybody
thank
that
you,
joined.
Mercy. Nice
Glad
being here with
next
you.
been amazing having you.
Bye.
Bye guys.
Bye.